I won the Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria 2013, and I went to represent my country, which is Nigeria, at the Miss World Pageant in Bali. It made me realize a whole lot of things that I have. It helped me identify my weaknesses and my strength at that time. I would say it made me see myself from a whole different perspective because I never knew I could do that. That is something I would not take away from Nigerians. We are go-getters. We do not give up. Wherever we find ourselves, we hustle and we make money. We push ourselves, we hustle, we never give up. We're very hardworking. When it comes to businesses, we're number one.
Hello, Africa. You're listening to 1000 African Voices. I'm your host, Aburengwi C, coming to you from our Johannesburg studios. 1000 African Voices is a program that profiles Africans of diverse cultures who have traveled and lived across the African continent and the world. In this series, we will collect and share stories from all parts of Africa. Welcome.
1000 African Voices.
Hello, African. Welcome to yet another episode of 1000 African Voices. I'm your host, Aburengwi C, and today we're joined by Anna Ebiere Banner, who will shortly introduce herself to the listeners of 1000 African Voices. Anna, I'm hoping I did not butcher your name. Can you just introduce yourself to our listeners?
You did a bit anyways, my middle name, but it's okay. You tried.
No, give us, how do I pronounce the middle name? Ebiere.
Ebiere.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Or you can say Ebiere, like the way the Nigerian people would say it, or the way my uncles say it, Ebiere. But it's okay the way you pronounced it.
Ebiere. No, we have to get it right. So it's
Ebiere. Ebiere.
Okay.
Yes.
Does it have a specific meaning, Anna?
Ebiere means good woman.
Oh, beautiful. That's such a nice meaning. And so which name do you prefer?
It depends. I like Anna because most of the time people do not really pronounce my middle name properly. But most of my uncles, or when I go to my state, they always call me by my native name. I don't know why, but most people call me Anna though. So it's still cool. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. Anna, so when you asked the question on who Anna is, how do you normally answer that? So who is Anna? And your surname, is it Banner or Banner? Banner. Like Banner.
David Banner. Banner,
okay.
Yes.
So great. How do you normally then introduce yourself? How do you describe yourself? And I suppose what I'm asking is, how do you see yourself when that question comes up?
Okay, I'll describe Anna as a strong woman, kind-hearted, and very disciplined. And she has a mind of her own because Anna has gone through a whole lot, but she's still standing strong. So if I would describe her with one word, I would say strong.
Strong. Okay, yeah, I like that to sort of compress it into one word. And maybe those who know you well, how do you think they describe you?
People that know me well, they would say Anna loves love. Anna loves love, and she tries as much as she can to show people love and kindness. Yeah.
Oh, such a beautiful way to put it. And I'm aware that I've used the word beautiful twice. And it could be that in preparing for this show, as I was reading up on your profile, that word kept coming up. So in 2013, you were notably voted or awarded this crown of the most beautiful girl in Nigeria. It's such an unavoidable question to ask, so I'm hoping that you don't mind. What
No,
does
of
it
course not.
mean to be known as the most beautiful girl in Nigeria?
Okay, the most beautiful girl in Nigeria, also known as NBGN, is a prestigious organization. It's a beauty pageant that I would say is the number one beauty pageant in Nigeria because they have the franchise for Miss World and for Miss Universe. So I won the most beautiful girl in Nigeria 2013, and I went to represent my country, which is Nigeria, at the Miss World Pageant in Bali. It was an amazing experience. It was mind blowing. I never expected that I would attain such height in life, but I was really honored. Yeah.
What has happened between 2013 and 2019? So in 2013, you represented Nigeria at the 2013 Miss World Pageant. What has happened in that intervening period until now?
Trust me, a whole lot of things, a whole lot of things, up and down. It's been a sweet, bitter roller coaster because I won MBJN when I was just 18 and I went for Miss World at that time too. And plus, kind of family that I came from or that I come from, we're very cultured, very disciplined and strict, like you've heard about African moms and all of that, how strict they are and things like that. Yeah, so my mom was one of those strict African, like typical African mother. So winning MBJN, I had to do a lot of things. So I basically moved from where I was raised, which was Port Harcourt, and I moved to Lagos to be all by myself with the pageant organizers. They got me accommodation and everything. So it was like releasing a puppy from a cage, So I explored, I did a lot of things. I made some mistakes. I made some good choices, Then when I was 19, I went back to school in Dubai. And after that, I got pregnant and I had my baby when I was 20. So after that, it's just been up and down. And after my baby turned 1, I decided to go back to school so I could, get a degree, which I'm still doing right now. So I'm currently studying in a university in Ghana called Wisconsin. And I'm studying rural development and ecotourism. By the grace of God, I'll be graduating next year. So, yes.
Oh, lovely. I mean, we wish you well. So I've been trying to follow your pathway. At age 18, you got to Bali. And then you mentioned that you decided to go back to school, but then you chose Dubai. You then fell pregnant. After that, you then went to study in Ghana. So I'm sort of crisscrossing now the continent and moving across to the Middle East. I am curious, though, to understand why you chose Dubai. Was there any specific reason why you went to a city like Dubai?
2 reasons. First of all, I wanted to school in London, but the university that I saw, the university that I applied for, they had a campus in Dubai. And I have no family member in London. I have no friends in London. So I was thinking, how am I supposed to do this, So my cousin called me up, told me that he's in Dubai and he's actually schooling in the same university, So I said, oh, okay, that's actually good. So I can come to Dubai instead and be with my cousin and go to school. At least I have a family member that I could stay with or I could, be with. So that's why I chose Dubai instead of going to London.
And how was your experience of Dubai? It's such a fascinating city, or at least I found it to be fascinating in so many ways, but I'm curious to understand your experience of the city.
Dubai is an amazing technologies and beautiful people, But I always say that living in Dubai, it's not very ideal because the cost of living in Dubai is very expensive. So before you can say, you know what, I want to school in Dubai or I want to work in Dubai, you have to make sure that you have a backup plan because anything can happen. Thinking about house rent, thinking about transportation, it's very expensive. So you need to get a good job to enable you stay in Dubai and live a good life, But aside that, Dubai is amazing. But I would not choose to school in Dubai right now. Like if someone says, you know what, Anna, come school in Dubai and all, I wouldn't do that. Except maybe for a short course, maybe 6 months course. Yeah. But for like 4 years, no. Dubai is very expensive. Yes.
So Anna, I'm at age 18, so I'm trying to remember myself at age 18. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I enrolled for a program and I just went with it, but I did not have a firm idea of where I wanted to go. So at age 18, as a young person, you now suddenly confronted with this title of the most beautiful girl in Nigeria. I'm wondering as I'm listening to you how, if at all, how that impacted the person that you became, the person that you are today. Are you able to link that moment or that event to the person that you are today?
So you're asking if it impacted positively in my lifestyle as per today?
Yeah, whether positively or negatively. I'm wondering if it had an impact that you can quantify when you think about it. I mean, as we go through life, there are those moments that you mentioned that you have a child. Is it a boy or girl?
I have a daughter.
A daughter. So I'm sure having your daughter changed the course of your life, and there are things that you can pin down to that moment. And I think of my own experiences. There are those big moments that change the whole trajectory of your life. So I'm wondering how being crowned the most beautiful girl in the world may have affected you. I'm looking at your pictures now as we speak, and it's hard for me to dispute or to argue against. It's difficult to not understand why they bestowed such a lofty title to your name. But it's a question that we can always come back to it. I was just curious to understand if you think about that.
It's okay. Yeah, winning MBGN was a big deal for me, right? Going into camp and competing with 35 girls from different families, different backgrounds, different culture, I would say that it made me more confident. It made me realize a whole lot of things that I have. It helped me identify my weaknesses and my strength at that time. I would say it made me see myself from a whole different perspective because I never knew I could do that. I never knew I had the boldness. I never knew I had the courage to pull through and still come out victorious. Then after that, everything has its own up and down. The negative part of it was that I think I was exposed to the world at a very tender age, right? So a lot of people took advantage of me, of my naive young self at that point. And I never saw that as a problem because I was still very young, And at some point I was a bit carried away, But I'm always very grateful that I had my family and my close friends that were always there to, help me remember, Anna, always remember where you're coming from. Remember where you're coming from and remember where you're going to. So at some point, I lost track of why I actually got into the pageant business. It was really bad. At that point, I made a whole lot of bad decisions. But like I said earlier, I'm really glad that I had my family and my really good friends around that helped me, help me retrace my steps and then put me back right on the part that I needed to be at the point, And then aside that, having my daughter taught me how to be patient I'm not a patient person. Before now, I had like zero patience level. But having my daughter taught me a whole lot of things. She taught me patience. She taught me how to even love more without setting boundaries. She taught me how to be principled, how to set a goal and by all means achieve it. So because of her, I tried to work times seven. Like I try to work as hard as I can, to make her proud and to make her understand that, look, your mommy has gone through so much, but she did not allow that to define her. Instead, she picked herself up, dust herself, and still moved on, and still tried to do the right thing. Yeah. So I would say, yeah, the negative, positive, they all contributed in building Anna today, in making Anna the person or the woman that she is today. So yeah, I wouldn't say I regret it. I don't regret any bad decisions that I made or things like that, because they all contributed in making me who I am today, and I'm proud of who I am. So yeah, I hope that's a good answer to your question.
No, it is. And I really like what you're saying, that you don't regret any bad decision. And I hesitate as I'm about to say that, because as you get older, and I'm speaking now from the side of experience, as you get older, you realize that most of the decisions that we view as good or bad, in retrospect, when you look back at them, the experience that you have or the assessment that you have on those decisions over time is different, because you probably have a bit more context. So you may find that when something is happening, you experience it as bad, but 10 years down the line, you realize that you could only have become that person by going through something that you experienced as bad at the time. So it's quite a difficult thing. There's one thing, Anna, that I'm really struggling with, if I'm to be honest. So you're 24.
Okay.
And I've had to look at your age twice, if not 3 times, because as I listen to you speak, I'm like, there's no way she can be 24, because you sound not only grounded, but so balanced. And I'm wondering where that comes from, if you've always been like that. I'm pretty sure that it's something that you are aware of, that you're not a typical 24-year-old. And I say that with respect, in that when you speak, there is an element of a worldly, well-balanced view. And I'm struggling to find the right words. It's not a light conversation, because you've really pulled me in and you've taken me now into your world. There's so much weight behind the words that you use and the phrase that you come up with. Is that something you are conscious of? Or is it just who you are?
I would take that as a compliment. Thank you. I would say that I get that a lot, that I'm not like a typical 24-year-old, because I grew up in a family where responsibilities were handed over to me at a very young age. I finished high school when I was around 15, 16, and I started working because I didn't grow up in a family where money was just tossed around, or I would say I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth or a golden spoon in my mouth. So you have to work hard to achieve whatever you want or to get whatever you want. I grew up with a single mother. So at that point in my life, I've always seen my mother as a superhero, as a strong woman trying to do everything in her power to make things right. To put food on our table, to put a roof over our head, to put clothes on our body, And as a child, I always wanted to lift that stress, or that responsibility off her, because I felt she was tired. I saw how tired she was at every point. I saw how stressed she was. But the beautiful part was that she never allowed the struggle or the stress get the better part of her. She still smiled through it all. And that breaks my heart every time that I look at her, even when I was still a young girl. So when I was like around 8, 9, my mom's friends, they always come to the house and, to chill and all of that. And when they leave, they like give me money, oh yeah, buy something for yourself. So I always save that money And when it's up to like a certain amount, when my mother is not expecting, I go into a store, I buy like toiletries, I buy like her soap, I buy, some things, some basic things that we need, that at that point she couldn't afford. So I would save up the money and buy those things. I'll bring it to the house. And when she sees it, you can see the excitement in her eyes. Like I've always wanted to please her because I see that she has tried her best to do everything that she can do to make me grow up in a normal family or to make me comfortable. So she would see those things and she'll be like, where did you get the money from? So I'll tell her, okay, I saved it. And she says, thank you. When I'm not around, she goes in and she cries. So I grew up with that mentality of trying to always make sure that the people around me are okay. The people around me are comfortable. The people around me get enough love that they deserve. And it started with my mother. So at the age of 16, 17, I got a job. I got a 9-to-5 job. And I wasn't given a specific role at the company that I worked in, but I tried to learn like from everybody. So you can't say, okay, Anna is this or Anna has this position in the company. No, Anna learns from every single person. So I can be with the accountant today. I can be with the secretary today. I can be with the manager today. I can be with the safety manager today, and all of that. So I try to do all of that and I get paid at the end of the month. So when I get paid, I bring it over to the house, to help my mom with her business. So her business started all over again, So at that very young age, I felt like it is my responsibility to provide for my family or to make sure that my family was okay. So I never really enjoyed what a 16-year-old would enjoy or what a 17-year-old would enjoy. I've always seen myself as a bigger person. I've always seen myself as, all of this childish thing doesn't really matter. I think I have to man up, or woman up to face reality and face life, and try to do things that are right. But to be very honest with you, I'm really happy that I did that. But sometimes I feel like I missed a whole lot from my teenage days. So there's some things that I still try to do as I'm 24. And I try to say, what, okay, when I was 17, I wish I had done that. You know what, I can still do that now, but it's it's something that I'm not used to. So I would say I'm more mature than my age. I'm more enlightened or more experienced. So maybe that's why I'm like this. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's quite different. I'm wondering though, as I'm listening, so people that started with the projects, for lack of a better word, at a young age, and I'm thinking now of someone like a Michael Jackson, there's always that gap, and psychologists have so many theories on what that gap does to the human psyche. So when you mentioned that there are some things that you wish you could do or some things that you wish you had done, I am wondering what some of those things are, and if you have any plans to redress those issues, because 24, yes, for you, it feels like, yes, you've lived for a long time, 24, but to be honest, 24 is fairly young, so you should still be able to do most of the things that you wish you had done. What are some of those things, if you don't mind sharing, that you still want to do or wish you could have done, and you're sort of finding ways to do them now?
These are girly stuff. These are a lot of girly that I wish I had done. Let me say, for example, going for a sleepover, going for, I don't know, I can't really pinpoint. It just comes and goes. When I watch some, like, for example, when I go to the mall and I see girls who are like 18, 19 at the mall, doing nothing, just to dress up, going to the mall and just chilling, doing absolutely nothing, just standing there and talking. I'm like, oh my goodness, I never did that. So it's just like some silly stuff, nothing really very important, So yeah, but I try to do most of the things with my daughter though, so I'm okay. for now.
Oh, yeah, I suppose through her, you do have an opportunity to live
Yes,
again, so to speak. So you,
yes,
as a mom, you're allowed to then do whatever really it is that you
exactly.
want to do.
Yes.
Okay, maybe let's talk a bit about the cultural side of Anna, and specifically, I'm interested to find out if you are into things such as music, movies, that kind of content. I don't know if it's something that interests you, but I'm quite curious to find out what someone like yourself gets up to. So when you really have absolutely nothing to do, is
hmm
music something you listen to, and are you someone who's into movies?
I'm into both. Like I said earlier, I'm a lovey-dovey person. Anna loves love. So most of the movies that I watch, they're romantic movies or romantic comedies or comedies.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
what
like
are
one
some
of
of your favorites?
yeah, like Pretty Woman. The
Wow, really?
classic Pretty
So
Woman.
the
Yes, I
most
love Pretty
beautiful
Woman.
girl in Nigeria 2013
hmm
enjoys watching Pretty Women. There's
Yes,
something
I love
funny
Pretty
about
Woman.
that. Okay.
Why? Why is it funny?
No, no, it's just the title of the movie Pretty Woman, and
Oh, okay,
given your
okay.
background. And, and on
I love
the
Pretty.
okay, no, it's a really good movie. And on the music side,
The music side, I love Afrobeats and what's it called? There's a genre for love music, right?
the genre for love music,
Music, yeah, I'm sure
like
there's a genre for that.
I don't know, something else besides R&B. I always associate rhythm or rhythms and blues with love.
Yeah, blues. Okay, blues. Yeah, blues is
Blues.
perfect. Yeah,
Oh,
blues. So
okay.
Afrobeats and blues, yes.
Oh, lovely. As a Nigerian person in Ghana, you
hmm
said by next year you hope to complete your studies. How have
Yes.
you found life in Ghana? How does it compare to life in Nigeria as well as life in Dubai?
Oh, Ghana is amazing. Ghana is something else. The educational system in Ghana is it's very, very good as compared to Nigeria. How would I say it? The cost of living in Ghana too is also on the high side, but not as expensive as Dubai. Ghana is a small country, right? The whole of Ghana is like Lagos. Ghana is very small. So I school in Accra, which is the capital city. And Accra is also very small. You can actually do everything in less than 2 or 3 weeks. Like you can go everywhere in less than 2 or 3 weeks. Ghanaians are very warm, they're very welcoming, they're very sweet people. They are not loud as compared to most Nigerians. They like, living the low key life, spending when it's necessary, and all of that. Yeah, they're all about their culture. They're all about their culture. They're all about their educational system, which is very, very good. That's why I actually chose to school in Ghana because I don't know if you're aware of this, that most universities in Nigeria are not globally recognized. Like when I mean university, maybe the certificate when you graduate, because Nigeria is known for a lot of I don't want to badmouth my country, but I'm just trying to be realistic as possible. Nigeria is a country that is corrupt. I know almost all the countries in the world are corrupt, but we're proud of corruption, which is not good. Which is not good. Yeah, which is not good. It's something that we should be ashamed of, and try to change, or we should put things in order for it to reduce the corruption or eradicate it, you know. But Ghanaians are like low key people, even if they're corrupt, they're not really rubbing it on your face and all of that. But in terms of the educational system, it is known worldwide that Ghana's educational system is very strong and they see
Hmm.
the educational system as very strict. So when you come up with, for example, a second class degree or second class upper, they trust it. They know it's real, or a first class degree. They know it's real. But in Nigeria, it's a bit debatable, you know. they might say, how sure are we that, things like that, because of different stories, different things that has been happening, or things that has happened in the past and all of that. But aside that, I really like Ghana, but it's very hot.
Oh, yes,
It's
I would
very
imagine
hot in
it's
Ghana.
quite hot. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
it's very
haven't
hot.
been there, but I can imagine it is quite hot. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you mentioned that Ghanaians are quite friendly, that's sort of always the perspective that we get. And you said they're
Mm-hmm.
not as loud as Nigerians, but I do wonder from their perspective, the perspective of Ghanaians, if they look at Anna as someone who's similar to them, or do they go, this Anna, she must be Nigerian because she is loud? Or do you find that you fit in right into the fabric of Ghana because your personality, or the sense that I'm getting today, is that you're quite mellow, quite considered. So I don't imagine then you being loud, so to speak.
No, I'm not loud. I would say that I comport myself properly when I'm in public, or when I have to associate myself with people that I'm just meeting, right? But when I'm with my friends, like people that I'm very comfortable with, I can be myself and let loose, and not, but I don't call that being loud. You have your comfort zone, so you're free to do
Yes.
whatever you want to do. Yes.
Yeah.
But yes. So
Okay.
even in my school, we have a lot of Nigerians. I try to keep to myself most of the time, just to avoid
um,
trouble.
I'm enjoying how much you are being careful of how you phrase certain things. I'm having a good
Yeah.
time on my side, and I'm glad I'm not the one being interviewed. There's, there's one thing that I respect a lot about Nigeria. So as much as you've sort of talked about the education system, and it's true that everywhere you go around the world, I mean, I was surprised that once I was in Perth, Australia, and the perception
Mm-hmm.
was similar, which was a shock to me because I thought that perception was only sort of limited to our continent.
Mm-hmm.
But after saying all of that, when you look at the most successful businesses on the African
Mm-hmm.
continent, businesses that are owned by Africans that are doing well and they're globally competitive, most of those
Mm-hmm.
businesses are in Nigeria, which
Oh,
is
of course.
interesting
Of
because
course.
it's you saying on one hand, the education system has issues. On the other hand, financially or economically speaking, Nigeria is a
Mm-hmm.
powerhouse, and the country
Yes.
bells comes up
Yes.
with innovative ideas and massive companies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, right? Nigerians, we're loud, we're proud of whatever thing we do, but we are hustlers. We never give up. We find an opportunity in every situation, good or bad. We find an opportunity and we make money out of it. Like that is something I would not take away from Nigerians. We are go-getters. We do not give up. Wherever we find ourselves, we hustle and we make money. We don't care how it's been done, but we push ourselves, we hustle, we never give up. We're very hardworking. When it comes to businesses, we're number one. I don't know if you know about the Igbo tribe.
Yes.
The Igbos are very, very hardworking. They are business-minded people. Wherever, like they see, even if there's a crack on this wall or a building is about to collapse or something, they always find a way to make money out of it. They always find a strategy. They always, trust me. They are everywhere in the world. What do they do there? Business. They do businesses everywhere, and they are very, very lucrative too. So I'll give it to them that they're
Yeah.
go-getters, they're hustlers.
That they are
Yeah.
indeed. So the Igbo tribe very popular everywhere you go. I mean, if the Nigerian team is playing in England, half the stadium, if not more, is made up of Nigerians. You go to
Nigerians,
Croatia,
yeah.
it's Nigerians. Like, how did you get to Croatia, and what are you doing there? So everywhere you go, there's always some Nigerian presence.
Nigerians, we love to enjoy life, trust me. We love to enjoy life.
Agreed.
When we have money, we show it off.
Yes, I suppose you only live once. So, Anna,
Exactly.
this has been such a fascinating discussion. Now, when you call someone and say, hello, Anna, please introduce yourself to our listeners. You're never really quite sure where the conversation is going to go. And every so often, the conversation takes you to these undiscovered places. And today I've had this opportunity to sit on the other side and be taken into the life of Ebiere Banner, which I've thoroughly enjoyed. So this has been such a pleasure for me when I started, I thought, the most beautiful girl in Nigeria, we're really going to focus on that. But guess what? 40 minutes into the discussion, yes, we did touch on that, but it was not even 5% of this conversation. And this is why we love doing this. This is why we enjoy connecting to Africans all across our continent and in the diaspora. Before we say goodbye, Anna, are there any last words that you want to say or share with our listeners?
I would say that I always use myself as an example. I have not had the entire experience in life because, I'm still a young girl. I'm still going through life and still trying to understand what life truly means at the same time. But I would say that if you're a young girl out there or a young guy listening to me, don't ever give up. Your situation today does not mean that, or if you find yourself in any bad situation today, it doesn't mean that that's where you're going to end up. It doesn't mean that you should give up or you should stop trying. I have fallen a lot of times, but what has helped me is that I did not give up. I always stand up, dust myself up, and still move. Failure does not mean it's the end of your life. It only teaches you a lesson. So you fail, you learn. You fail, you learn. And trust me, the more you keep doing that, the sky will always be your stepping stone.
On that note, the most beautiful girl in Nigeria, right here on 1000 African Voices, where we bring you, and we intend to bring you 1000 African Voices. Anna, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you. Nigeria must be proud to have a daughter like you. And I'm pretty sure that your daughter is very proud to have a mother like you. So thank you very much for joining our project, and we look forward to all your future endeavors. Take care.
Thank you so much.
1000 African Voices.
You've been listening to 1000 African Voices. Please join us next time as we bring you yet another African voice. 1000 African Voices is produced by Aburengwi C. Sam Ganich is our sound engineer, with our head researcher Jones Maleka. The intro soundtrack for the show is by the legendary Salif Gator from his 1995 album Forlorn. The song you're listening to right now is by Chronix, and the title of the song is Legend. For more information, including the contact details of our guests, please visit us on our website www.1000africanvoices.com. You can also subscribe to our show on iTunes by searching for 1000 African Voices. We are also available on Stitcher. You can find us as well on Podbean. The only thing we ask of you is that you subscribe to our show by logging on to 1000africanvoices.com and click the subscribe button. That helps us grow. It helps us keep producing and bringing to you more African voices. Until next time, Kungana Africa, and take care.
Being an ordinary person doing what's right. Yesterday at the football game, a little girl asked me my name. She said, "Sir, I've seen you before. Tell me, who are you?" I said, "I am a legend that you never heard of before." I said, "I am a lion, but you never heard me roar. I am a hero that nobody celebrates. But if one person remembers my name, that means on the ocean of fame I'm an unknown sailor. I'm the percussionist playing with the whalers, the one with the shaker, the mover and shaker. My name wasn't on the front of the paper, but me not cater. Much more than the work is greater. Creation glorifies creator. So all deeds done are in the name of my maker. I am a legend that you probably never hear about. Words from the lion's mouth. I am a hero that nobody celebrates. But if one person remembers my name, give praise, that means I made a change. Story of my life, ordinary person just like you. If you take a look inside, you see the great things that people do. We're out here changing lives day and night, day in, day out. BBC don't show it, CNN don't show it. He's out.